You're listening to The Kelly Slusher Show with your host, Kelly Slusher. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for another one of these fun podcast episodes. I've been taking so many notes throughout the week that I was looking at my notes and I was laughing before I got on here. I was like, oh yes, that, oh yes. So good. Where do I even start? This is episode 61. Thank you very much. I keep on a-going. I keep on a-trucking. I keep on a-going. And I hope to be able to keep on a-going. So this conversation has happened multiple times, so I thought I'd bring this up. So this happened the other day. I was talking, there was this coworker, anyway, I was mentioning something about my drums. I just ordered them. And I just mentioned it to her, and she's a festival girl. This is my new term now, festival girls. It's a thing, and I'll explain that in a bit if you don't know what that is, because it's a real thing. Festival girls, like they just like, well, they're girls, they're women. Their lives are going to festivals. Certain personality. And she goes, oh, you play drums? Oh, yeah, you can try. Have you ever played that box drum? The box drum? And I was like, she goes, those are great. You know, oh, I play that. My friends play that. And I'm like, good for you. Okay. Now, the reason why it irks me is because it's happened so many times in the past. You mentioned, and maybe other drummers might have had this conversation, like who play drum kits. And someone says, and somebody will say that, oh, have you played that box drum? And I'm like, I've said, yeah, okay, no, but one time I went, okay, so this is the thing. They're not the same thing. Okay. It's not the same thing. They might be great for your acoustic set, whatever you're doing. Fine. That's great. Good for you. I'm not interested. So I went to our local guitar, our local music store owned by this little lady. And I remember this was like in 2020. I had just bought this drum kit off of Craigslist, and it was like $100, but it needed all new heads, like drum heads. So I went in there and I was like trying to find some drum heads. She goes, have you ever played this box? And she had the box drum. Have you played the box drum? She gave me a demonstration. I was like, why? She must sell those. She probably makes so much money off those. That's probably her whole gig, the box drum. And I was like thinking, I'm looking for drum heads for a drum kit. Why are you trying to sell me this drum box that I don't want? And by the way, back in 2020, they weren't like the drum heads, they're like plastic, and the same manufacturers. What I found out is during that time, because that's when I was looking for them, they were making those face shields. For people, it was the same plastic, and so they were producing less drum heads, and the cost had gone way up. To the point, I'm like, what's the point? This $100 drum set, which is not worth me putting this much money into, so I didn't even like invest in that. But I would want to go up to people who were wearing those face shields and like start playing drums in their face. I'm like, hey, that's my drum head on your face. That was a weird little snippet of reality. So that happened then. It's happened multiple times. And so I've been thinking about this. I'm like, how can I incorporate this? How can I explain this so I don't sound like a jerk to people? Like, well, why are you so biased? Okay, it would be like this. Yeah, okay, so you're going to play a gig. Okay, so here you go. The gig's got to be playing. Okay, so you're going to go play a show. And so the bass player sets up and he's got his amp. He's got his bass guitar. He's got his little pedals, and then the guitarist shows up and he's got his big amp, and he's got his pedals, guitar, and then you have another guy, he's going to play rhythm, he's over there in the corner, and then the drummer's going to show up, and here she comes with her box drum, and she sets it up, and she's like, okay guys, let's rock. Sound guy, can you mic this like real? I need like 5 mics on this. You can just crank it so I can be at the volume of these guys. That is what I came up with last night because I've been thinking about it like all week. I'm like, how can I make this like some kind of joke? Like, how can I? You're gigging. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not the same thing. And that's why I want to like explain that to these people. But I don't care. But it's just annoying. It's like, it's undermining. And that's what it is. Like, it's undermining. So, as that is funny to me. Or what if you're like, yeah, you know, some guys are like, hey, you want to come jam? You know, I hear you play drums. Yeah, I'm showing up. Got my box drum, sit down. Okay, guys, let's jam. Yeah. That's fine. You guys do your box drum thing, but don't undermine like a full kit. Okay, thanks. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. And the skill that it takes to play a whole kit versus the skill it takes to beat on a box. Excuse me. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so many good notes. I'm like, where do I even start? Has anyone ever worn a tie-dyed tie in Thailand, drinking a Thai iced tea, doing Tai Chi? I like French cuisine. I eat croissants, French fries, French onion soup with French dressing. Why is there never a female barbershop quartet? Why? Have you ever seen it? There needs to be a female barbershop quartet. I was at the gym the other day, and I was on the stair climber. Do you guys know the stair climber? It's like stairs at the never-ending staircase. It's a good exercise. It's a real good exercise. It works a lot, and it's hard. And I'll do it for a while, 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. I haven't gone further. Some people will do it for an hour, and I'm like, no. I was on it, and I'm not kidding. I'm on it. And there's other people on the other ones next to me. There's this guy on the one next to me. I'm on it. And all of a sudden, it went from slow pace to full speed. And it literally, like, spit me off. Like, I was done and all of a sudden it just went really fast. And I was fiddling with a song on my phone because I like to listen to music, of course. It's like the key element of having to, I can listen to my fun dance music while I work out. It motivates me. And so then I'm like, it spit me off. Like, literally, like, all of a sudden I just, like, started going, like, you know, let's say it was going, it really is not going 5 miles an hour, but it would be like going 5 miles an hour to, like, 60. And because I'm balanced, I'm really good with my balance, it spit me off. And that guy looks at me like, what the heck? And I just was like, I don't know. So then I, like, turned the machine off, and I couldn't go talk to the workers because there was too many people. So the other day I did mention it to one of the girls. I was like, hey, and I was like, is this something that happened? She goes, that's impossible. I'm like, yeah, if I was like an elderly person or like someone that could have really hurt me. And she's like, and I'm like, I blamed it on error, like operator error. Like it had been something I did. She goes, there's nothing. And then she got on there and she tried to make it. She goes, it's just not. I'm like, well, just so you know, I don't know if there's much you can do about it, but I just won't go on that one. But that did happen. It really did. Like, I had a witness. I feel like sometimes there's those things that only happen to me. I'm like, don't worry, it probably won't happen to anybody else. Oh, I'm so excited, by the way. My single just came out. It came out like so fast. It was so fast. Okay, I just made an animation. I'll be putting that up on my little Instagram of it's just a little animation. It's cool. And it's cute. I want to do those again. I love it. Okay, I don't know if I talk about that, but I'm sure I have, but I like to do when I have the time. It's relaxing. Making animations with, I have some more ideas. I don't want to talk about the ideas, but I used to actually do stop motion and you can see a lot of this stuff on my Instagram page. I have tons of it. I would take out like collage. I like the idea I call them moving collages because a collage is cool, but if it moves, that's what I've always wanted. So I would take magazines and like old vintage magazines and cut out images, and then or also draw things and paint things on paper and then cut it out, and then do the whole stop motion thing with, I just had a little thing on my camera. I don't have like the full. So a few years ago, I was just appreciating this because a few years ago I got a message from this guy from Spain. He lives in this coastal, like tiny coastal town, and he was like broken English, and he's basically, I had to translate it, and it said, I just want to let you know that I was laying in bed listening to the radio, and one of your songs came on, and I was like, I had to wait, and I just found out who it was, and I woke up, I bought your album, and it's the most beautiful, dreamiest, magical music. And he felt it. And I'm like, that's why I do it, because I get it. I get what I'm doing. I like what I'm doing. It's very heartfelt, but it's obscure too. And I love that part. I love this he lives in this small village. And so I was like, oh, thank you so much for letting me know. I love hearing that, And so we were a little bit back and forth, and he's like, you got to come play Spain. And I'm like, yeah, I do. That'd be so rad to play Spain. And he's like a rock and roller hipster guy that lives, it's kind of cool because he friended me on Facebook, and I get to see like the culture there, like what they do and the shows. And I'm like, gosh, they're like I have these like Spanish hipsters that follow me, and like friends that I'm friends with on Instagram. And I'm like, this is so cool. It's like no different than here, They're actually pretty darn hip over there. Their culture and the visuals stuff that I like to, it's more my style. Anyway, so it's kind of cool. So anyway, I was like, oh, I should send this song to him because I think he'd appreciate this. Like, sometimes I'll do that for certain fans because I'm like, here, just have this song. I don't make any money off this music. And I sent it to him, and he's like, and he writes out, thank you a lot. Very beauty. I have now the same feeling when I listened the first day your record years ago. Magic, strange, beautiful magic. These two guitars and your voice are in my heart. And I'm like, to me, it's like when people can understand where I'm coming from, because they're so delicate, they're so special, and that's just and I realize like I really have created that brand throughout the years. So I was like, that's great. I have a handful of these people. I don't, it's just kind of fun. Like, oh, here, have this. And so I'm telling I don't tell people where I work, they don't know this about me. If they want to investigate, they can, but I don't talk about myself. I guess, I don't know. It's just, it's not, they don't understand. So I'm like, I tried to no, they don't get it. So, okay. So, I mentioned it to my closest coworker friend. She's, pretty dear to me, and I'm sure we'll be friends after this. And I was telling her about that story. I'm like, I sent to my Spanish fan. I was telling her about and then he wrote back, and then she's like, wait, who are you? And I was like, oh, wait, you don't know that part of my life. You think I'm just a baker, don't you? That's cute. Oh, that's adorable. I've been wanting to tell this story, but I don't know how to tell it without sounding weird, but I'm going to tell it. So this was like back in 2016. I ended up moving back to the area that I live now. Well, not back. I was new here. But I was living up in Oregon. I was living in Portland, and then I had moved to the Columbia Gorge and lived there for a couple years. It was really beautiful, but it didn't satisfy my rock and roll spirit. I need to rock. I need to be in a band. I need to be playing music there's something I was missing for sure that they didn't get. Like, I would play my songs, maybe acoustic, and, people liked it, but it wasn't like, they like bluegrass and country and folksy, all that stuff did well, but I was accepted and people loved, like when I would play, like, oh my gosh, I love your music. But it wasn't like, it's hard to explain. It wasn't like, they didn't get it at the same time. So anything I liked, I had met all these, and I was hanging out with these hippie people, which is kind of funny because like, I guess I have an element of that to me, but like, I was not satisfied. Let's put it that way. Like nothing was ever what I wanted. So I didn't quite sure where I was going to move. So I would like take a map out and I'm like, where am I moving? Where am I moving? And then I always would point to the map of where I'm at now. I'm like, I got to live there. That was my plan. And it was my place. I'm intuitive, but I had lived so many places in the country that I was like, well, I can't go there. I love California. So, okay. So anyway, I'm up there in Oregon in the hill country because it gets hillbilly. It does. Like you got your hipster Portland, but you go west, it starts to change very greatly. Hippie, country hillbilly. I'm not hillbilly, but the hill, like you got all kinds of people that aren't, but there's still like culture there, but anyway, so I was this group of friends I was hanging out with. I don't even talk to these people now because I don't have any real desire. And there's only one person up there that I still like every once in a while we say hi to each other on Facebook. Anyway, so they invited me. They're like, we're going to go to a Beltane festival and it was like way in the middle of nowhere. Like there were things like you could get so lost in those forests up there. There would be like these, like the one guy who invited me, he used to hold festivals and they would just be in the middle of nowhere. And like, it would take you forever to get there way high up in a mountain, like somewhere. This was the same thing. Like, couldn't even tell you where this was at. I rode along and I was like, I don't know if I want to go to a Beltane festival. I don't think that's my scene. They're like, oh, come on, just go with us. And they kept doing that. Oh, come on. Okay. So finally I go, okay, I'll go. And it was probably like a Friday night and it's supposed to be this weekend thing, but we were just going to go one night. And I wasn't excited about it because I'm not into that. That's not my thing. So then I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. So we get there and exactly what I thought. But see, this was like the vibe that I was picking up on. But these were a bunch of suburban kids that are really into that thing. And it's more like the Wiccan, what thing, I don't go down that. I know about it, but I'm not going to talk. You guys can get the picture, like whatever Beltane is. Now there is another Beltane festival where it's like older people and it's been going on for years and it's a whole other thing. This was not that. This was like, it felt like suburban people deciding that they were going to hold a Beltane festival and they were going to, it felt really dorky. Okay. This is my whole life. I'm like, these people are kind of dorky. And that's just how it felt. This just in my judgmental mind was like, this doesn't seem like a legit one. This seems like, so I was already like, oh, okay, this is weird. So they it was weird. I didn't want to be there. And, there's a lot of people just like doing their weird, like some like log thing. We were like, I don't know, they were doing this thing and people were walking on it all naked or they would have like these weird costumes on. I'm like, yeah, this is weird. And then the one person, because I don't consider this person a friend anymore, but he was like, hey, take photos of me. And he dressed up in like some stupid outfit where he I don't know. And so I took photos. They were mad. They were like, there's no cameras. You can't be taking photos here. And I was like, why did this guy knew this? I'm naive to it. And I was like, oh, it's sacred. They're sacred thing. And they were already they didn't want me there. So it was a camp out. And so we had camped and we had a tent. And I wanted to stay in the tent. I was like, I want to stay. And my friends were like, no. Come on. Like doing that thing. Like, no, come on. You can't stay in the tent. You got to, come on. They're going to have I don't want to be here. So fine, I'll leave. So I go out and they started having their little thing where they're like a drum circle. Okay. So there was this drum circle happening. It was the worst drum circle I had ever heard. So I was like, oh, I can play drums. So then I asked someone if I could borrow their little hand drum and I started trying to get them to play the right rhythm. because it was the most hopeless thing I'd ever heard. No one had rhythm. They were just like beaten. It was like beaten on like no timing, and it was weak. So I started doing like playing, and they did not like this. They were not having me. They did not like this, but I didn't care. I stopped really caring. I feel like I got stuck here, so I'm just gonna have fun. So I was like, I like the drums. So I'm sitting there, this is drum circle, and they're getting ready to have some weird like ceremony thing. I don't know what it was, but it was like there was like kind of like a stage type of thing, and there was like a bunch of people sitting around it, and I'm just like beat. And I knew that people were like not wanting me there, but I was like, I could feel it. Definitely like this, they're like, who is this intruder in our ritual festival? And I'm like, well, I'm stuck here. When am I going to lay in my tent? I want to play this drum. So I just kept doing it. And there was this empty seat next to me, and this big wizard, this old man with a wizard hat, with like the beard and the wizard costume, sits right down next to me. And I knew he was like, they're probably like, Mr. Wizard guy, can you get this woman out of here? And I knew what was happening, and I just kept drumming my strong will, like, well, if I get up now, then, it's going to look like I let the wizard intimidate me. So I'm like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm doing some good rhythm, man. I'm really keeping it up. They didn't want me there. So after a few minutes of this, he was doing some kind of weird wizardry, like trying to get me out of there. I could feel it. Whatever he was doing, he was like, and it, we can sum it up to someone just giving you bad vibes, It's like, fine, the wizard's giving me these really bad wizard vibes, so I'm not kidding. He was full wizard, and he was sitting next to me, and I was like, he didn't want me there, so I was like, okay. And then I stop, and then they start doing this weird, like, thing on the stage, and the women were all naked, and I was like, I'm leaving now. So I leave, and I go to the tent. It was pitch black. I remember, I didn't have my phone. Maybe I did. I'm in the middle of the forest, and like, so I'm at my tent, and I'm like, I'm bored. So then I guess I must have been playing a drum that they brought, because I remember having a drum. So I was like, fine. And so I took the drum, and I walked through the forest, beating my drum, like a little drummer girl, just beating this drum. And, oh yeah, they had some other friends that were staying at this one other part. That's right, at this other part. And so I knew that there was some other people that they were friends with. So I'm like, I'm going to go check out their campsite. So maybe it's somebody like, what am I going to do? Sit in the dark at my tent for hours? This sucks. This is awful. So then like, I'm walking through the forest, beating my drum, and I can feel no one wants this. No one wants me there. I totally crashed their Beltane festival. But I didn't know what to do. I want to be like, they made me come. I didn't want to go. I got talked into it, and I'm stuck here. I'm going to entertain myself. So I'm like walking through the forest, and then I look over there's like orgies happening over there. There's like this other thing. Looks like that's an orgy. It was like full like orgy, like Beltane stuff. And I'm like out of my element. So like, I'm just going to keep bringing it. So then like I'm walking through it, and they're just like, and they all hear me. They can all hear me walking through the woods, banging my drum. Oh, we know it's her because she's on time. She's actually playing it right. So anyway, I walked, I finally found like the campsite, and I found those other friends, and those guys had bad vibes. Like the one guy there, like bad vibes. Like I was not liking them. I was like, ew, like, ugh, icky. Like something was just, I don't know. And those people, I'm like, I don't like them either. So dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, beating my drum. And then I go to and then I walk a little bit further, and then I saw some other friends, and I like walk by the river. There's this beautiful river. It was actually really beautiful. And then but it was pitch black. And then I'm like trying to walk back, and then I got lost because it was in the middle. I got lost in the forest, which is bad. But luckily there was still like weird people everywhere that I kind of like, it did find my way back, but it did kind of freak me out for a second. I was like, am I stuck now in the I'll just beat my drum so someone can find me. But yeah. So then I went back to I just said, F this. I'm going back to the tent. So I went into my tent, laid down, and prayed for morning. And morning came, and I'm like, we did leave. I'm like, please, can we get out of here? I don't want to be here. So we left. But I kind of forgot about that. Like I crashed to Beltane Festival unintentionally and realized that night that I was going to move to California and move to a town where there were musicians who played music that I liked and that I could actually express that on a stage and express that, like, I don't have to go crash Beltane festivals and play a little drum. I can actually move to a town, move to an area that they like the drums, and I can play a full kit, and maybe I can be in a band and play my guitar, like, and like go rock somewhere. I need to go rock. So that was the catalyst and I think within a few weeks I packed everything up, and one of my friends, I was in a band at that time, Evelyn and the Glitterhawks, that's right. But I wasn't we would tour and stuff, and he lived in Sacramento and I lived up in Oregon, so it was really hard, but he actually came and moved me. He's like, you want to move? Awesome. But then me and him had a falling out. So that didn't work out because he wanted to be my boyfriend. And I did not, and he had a wife. He was married. Drama. So then that kind of was okay. That it was terrible that I had that falling out, but it was good that because I had moved to Sacramento and I was like, nope, this isn't going to work for me. So then I ended up just kind of exploring this area that I'm in now. Like I remember just driving up here, and I was like, I feel this place. And I was this lost little puppy trying to find my home. And I had gone to some other little towns and I didn't like them. I came up here and I saw there was cafe culture. I love cafes. I love coffee shop cultures. And that tells me a lot about a town. And so I went to this one place, and there was this guy behind the counter, and he's like, what are you up to today? And I was like, I'm trying to decide if I should move here. I'm just kind of checking the town out. And I was like, is this a music town? He's like, oh yeah. And he starts telling me everything about it. He's like, it's amazing. You definitely should move here. So because of him, I was like, oh yeah, okay, music, it happens here. Oh, it's a lot of music. Okay, I'm moving here. So then I ended up moving. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. But it's true. Like the Beltane Festival inspired me to get the hell out of there and be like, no. Okay. Well, here I am at the end. And I remembered this morning I was laying in bed and I had this thought. And it happens quite frequently. I should have a notepad somewhere that I can just write. But even that would be like, when you're really tired and you get ideas, it's like, I've done that before and then it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I don't even know what that says. So I will repeat it to myself, hoping that I'll remember it in the morning. And sometimes I do. I did remember this one. It was something to do with, okay, so the idea was I saw him hemming his clothes while humming hymns. I was trying to work with the words I like the words that sound alike but have different meanings. That's always fun. I saw him hemming his clothes while humming hymns. And I was trying to think about what was he hemming? And I was getting stuck on the hemming part. He was hemming. I wish there was something else he was hemming instead of having to say pants or clothes, because that kind of throws the riddle off, or the rhyme, or whatever it is, the phrase that I made up. Okay, I don't have anything exciting to add to the end here except for some weird little sound thing I found. Oh, it's so fun. I find so many interesting little things that I make throughout my life. All right, thanks for listening. Until next time. Okay, bye.